feeling great. Every day I'm getting paid. Man, this life is going great. I just wanna celebrate. I made it in and out of state. $1 million in the case. I got it here in summer safe. I multiply all my millions and really I am extremely wealthy. I distributed my millions with my family. This is just the beginning. I purchased a Lamborghini, driving around the city. Believe me, you haven't seen me. Made it through all the struggle, defeated all of my rivals. I was never entitled, but had to fight for survival. Man, this life is amazing. It's crazy that where we made it. Now I'm living my dreams and I'm burning, just getting started. I'm in I'm just living life. Every day I'm blessing. Gotta recognize the realest cause I'm just special. Blessing. Every day I'm blessing. Gotta recognize the realest cause I'm gonna fashion. I made it through the struggle back when I was very worried. Now I'm chilling, get my condo, Lamborghinis and Bugatti. I know you in a hurry, but I promise don't be worried when you see me in a club. I probably got enough to party. I'm a multi-millionaire, getting money everywhere. I ain't tripping on nobody, I just came to celebrate. Yeah, we got the party popping, got the channel over here, throwing money in the air, cause we get it every day. I multiply all my millions, now me and my people winning. Moving city to city, I promise that you will see me driving a Lamborghini, but this is just the beginning. $1 million Bugatti, I'm stacking money in the ceiling. Multiply all my millions, now me and my people winning. Moving city to city, I promise that you will see me driving a Lamborghini, but this is just the beginning. $1 million Bugatti, I'm stacking money in the ceiling. I'm in I'm just living life. Every day I'm blessing. Gotta recognize the realest cause I'm just special. Blessing. Every day I'm blessing. Gotta recognize the realest cause I'm gonna fashion.
What's up, guys and gals? The Truth Podcast here with the General Big John. We got Nikki G here. Hello. What's up, guys?
How are you guys doing today?
I have to show your song some love. You know, I was jamming on it last night, and I was like, "Woo, this hook is good."
Isn't that hook just dirty? I'm telling you.
Oh,
that vocalist, whoever that female vocalist, the layout, just everything. I got mad love for his song.
We had her in the studio, right? We had them in
the
studio here, yeah.
Oh, nice.
She just lays it down hard.
Yeah, I had it. I was working on the video last night, and had the music loud. And you know me, I'm a musician. And I was like, wow, this song is freaking awesome. So I just had to show you some love.
My girl Robin, she just tears it up.
Yeah.
Robin's just a beast. She did a lot of the gladiators. She's always doing the national anthems and for a lot of big stuff. She's killing it.
Is that, wait, I think I know who you're
Robin
talking about.
Meal.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Robin Christensen.
There you go. Yeah, I met her out of fashion, so.
I got her in the label, baby. I got her in the YM label. I told her I seen her part of the YM label.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Killing it, guys. You know, for me, I was like, this morning I got up and I said, you know what? I got to get the Truth Podcast. You know, I can't miss this. Oh, after this, I'm about to do a 3.5-hour drive. I got to get up to Colorado and knock out some stuff. But you know what? I said, I can't miss. Whatever I dedicate something to, I just got to get it done. So,
yep.
You know what I mean? You know, those moves, you know how I am. I don't
Taking out those tasks.
I don't mess around. I just knock it down, right?
Absolutely.
Today's a special one, I think, in talking about this, is what today's mantra is going to be is reflection, right? Really reflection on things that you got to ask yourself and say, what is the game? What am I reflecting on, right? Mind, body, spirit. Like when I reflect I tell people in my 20 years of being an adult, what am I going to reflect on and what accomplishments or what could I have maybe manipulated? Because with me, there's not really anything I would change, right? Necessarily, because, you know, I'm killing it. There's not really change. I just made I call it little modifications is really where I'm at, right? Mm-hmm. And I think I had that one piece there where I told an older man once told me this when I was about 15 years old. He says, wise is the man who learns from someone else's mistakes, right? That's so freaking powerful. And so he tells me, if you want to be a 70-year-old man by the time you're 25, you got to hang with a bunch of 70-year-olds because they're going to tell you immediately what not to do. And we've touched on this multiple times on previous podcasts, right? About, you know, don't touch the stove, stupid shit like that. But those things, we literally take them for granted and don't really internalize and tell ourselves. And I think the big thing is, the other thing that I love to say is, like, when you're reflecting is, what should I not do and what I should have not done? You know what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah, that's good.
And before we started the podcast, I said, you know what? We're really going to hit Big John on this one because he has more Christmases than us, and I just like his view. But same thing with you, Nikki. I think you guys kind of have a lot of this, so I'm really going to be looking on you guys to really touch on that specific subject piece of it. Yeah,
I love that. I wish I learned it younger. I did learn it older in life, about getting, the self-reflection part really resonates with me because, we really are what you see in someone else's reflection of you. And there's times where I can see where I'm at mentally on what I'm seeing as in someone else. So I really try to always reattune myself to, what am I seeing? Why am I having that perception and stuff? And so, like, lately my circle's just very clean. And, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about you, and I'm thinking all these powerful, just all these things I feel about you. And it was such a beautiful reflection of how I feel inside internally, and, you get those people that they don't know how to, like, embrace someone's success because they're not on that level. And I think that's where a lot of us fall into a place of, we block ourselves instead of just seeing you for what you've done and where you're at. And that stuff's not overnight. Everybody thinks this get rich quick stuff is nothing. That's hard work. Even just working with you, like, just the speed, the precision, just how you're just knocking out tasks like left and right. And so I started implementing that in my day. Like, how can I really utilize every minute of my day? And before 7 o'clock hits, I killed the game. Like, my day, I could walk away and really work on my next logical step because I'm being more conscious of my time. I'm being more task at hand, starting it and finishing it. Like, last night, I would not go to bed until I finished photo in this shoot. Like, I didn't care how tired I was. I'm going to finish the job. And it was just like a beautiful reflection of where I've grown, even just in this past year, And so the reflection part, I feel a lot of people hold themselves back because instead of seeing the good, they always see the difference. And that alone, it causes a lot of walls, you kind of building up barriers.
So I want you to focus on, Nikki. I'm going to get more subatomic, right? And so let's think about
subatomic.
This.
I love that word. We're going to
break this real subatomically because I think what you don't want, and this is where I'm working on you, is, I think sometimes we like pull ourselves back and we talk from this 30,000 feet level, right? Mm-hmm. And you really can't accomplish too much from 30,000 feet. And so what I want you to really break down, right? I really think about this. So let's define mind, okay? Mind is mindset, academic accomplishments, projects, stuff that you really said, you know what, I really have taken it to this level. Like, I'm vast in history at this level, so I could actually brief somebody. You're really good in a science project. Just everything intellectual property. So I don't want other people to get that fucking mistaken. Right, so it's not the make me feel good shit that I call it the hippie shit, right? That's not mind.
Yeah.
Mind is strictly intellectual property. And when you really think about it and say, what's the intellectual asset that I have? Like, so I use an example, right? So I have I know I can charge somebody $500 an hour to do network design architecture, and they're going to save so much freaking money, right? Van Gogh, he was a painter. He could charge what he want because you've mastered that craft. So when I think about mind, it's not mindset. It's capital. Like, what could if I had to turn it into monetary gain, could I do it? Or is it valuable to somebody else, even if they didn't buy it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's break down body, okay? Body is what I call the physical form, right? And going back to the whole subatomic, like that's subatomic, this box right here, nobody can see it, but it's a cigar box. But body, right? You're in the weight room, okay, you're throw the flex, you're like, okay, shit, I've accomplished that. But body also encompasses, to me, the physical things you've gained, right? When I roll in my car, it's part of me in that moment. Because I have more of an Eastern philosophy in the sense that whatever you conquer is really part of you. You may not take it with you when you die, but it's part of you in this life.
Yeah.
So they call me Lambo Jack, right? Even though I'm in Dodge truck right now, but people still know me as Lambo Jack. So you see what I'm trying to say? That's the body part. Now, spirit. Now, that's where I think we get really confused sometimes. And that's more of that mindset of like my Eastern style, right? That whole like my philosophy. What are my virtues of like mind, body, spirit, that kind of piece. Or, I feel like, I study with the monks, or, I'm an amazing Christian, so to say, or people that think like, I'm a great cat, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter to me. That's kind of what I think of the spiritual aspect of it, right? Mm-hmm. Mind, body, spirit. So in that essence and reflection, just really quick, because we're going to move to John.
Yeah.
What do you think 2 of your top 3 in each one that you think you're on and that you're going to continue working on, or you think you're there 80%, or whatever you think in your head the percentages? What is on the spirit, on the mind part? What do you think you've really is your capital? What do you think you've really honed?
Being able to create from a thought to a thing, whether it's logos, designs. It's something I've chiseled where I can confidently walk into any company and without a doubt get a job because of.
But break that more down. Because design, if I told you, let's go design a network, you're going to be all freaking lost.
Yeah.
So I want you to break down them. That's too broad of a word.
Yeah.
The reason I'm making you go through this exercise, and you're going to understand.
I love it though. I'm loving it.
So don't, not design. I want you to get real, break it down more, like subatomic. I like to use it.
Okay.
Design and
my ability to use 3D modeling softwares.
Okay. Perfect. So now we know, right?
Yeah.
You guys know, like, you did a hell of a job, guys out there, between all the people. Nikki taking the intro video, cutting the music in correctly. We didn't have to run it off my phone anymore. But that kind of stuff. And so you have that. It's with the modeling of software, and you can take a concept and actually bring it to fruition. Mm-hmm. Okay. So okay. You see that?
Yeah. So I love that though. I need that right now.
So that right there is an actual reflection right now. You can take that and make money with it. Mm-hmm. Right?
Absolutely.
People are going to pay for that. Okay. Yeah. So let's pick something else. Kind of, what do you think?
From the mind?
Yeah, from the mind.
From the mind. And that comes from more of like a skill factor, right? Because it's not mindset.
No, it's not mindset.
I can't use mindset anymore.
No.
The skill factor, I think that really, like, I can narrow it down is the actual, my ability to develop stuff. It doesn't even have to be on a software. You can give me a bunch of popsicle sticks and I have the ability to create you a 3D model of a cabin.
So your creativity.
Yeah, it just
creativity. So the reason I'm saying, Nikki, is this is a lot of people when they're talking to me and they're trying to get this out to me, they don't understand this. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm telling you is I'm going now from a perspective. Success. Period, right? Or can it do something so phenomenal that it's going to change the world? And I don't mean from a hoorah-rah world. I found, Einstein, with basis of creating the atomic bomb, it changed the world, right? It changed the war path. Things like that is what I'm trying to focus on, because you'll see where we're going to get to this, right? So let's step now on body. What do you think, capital, what was a big accomplishment do you think you really excited about? 2 of them.
I feel the ability to take my body to the next level. Like today, or just in the past week, I've surpassed my mental state of my physicalness, and I pushed beyond what my mental state was. And I saw how far my physical body, I could take it without going to where you're hurting yourself. Like I pushed myself beyond my old belief pattern limits, because it apparently wasn't a limit,
It's crazy. So can I share it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So before I was getting here, Nikki called me and she's like, you know what, Jen, you're not going to believe this. I got past this in my mind and I was able to run 2 more miles. And so then I made the commentary and I said, well, Nikki, that means you weren't pushing your mind. You should have been able to run 300 more feet, not another 2 miles. So that means right there, she wasn't pushing that mental capital. And it's that whole thing we talk about, right? Only the mind can heal the body, but only the spirit can heal the mind. So if the mind's not there, your body's going to follow. So that means based on the mental capability or strength, I call it the mental stamina, right? So it's okay. That's good. Okay. I like that. on the spiritual side. Now you can get woo-woo on me.
I can get woo on.
Yeah.
For the first time, I'm completely responsible for my entire spirit. Like I am not influenced by anybody's outsourced energy. And so my spirit for once is completely like cleansed. I don't have anything other than like, the only way I can explain it is I'm in complete flow state. Like I have no blocks in my spirituality to divert me. I'm following my intuitional path. Like I told you the other day, like I feel something coming, right? I packed a bag, I cleansed, I got rid of stuff because the signs are coming and I want to be ready.
Yeah.
And so like I don't have any type of roadblocks in my spirituality where, you know, like, oh, I need to work on my emotions, you know, and that's been my biggest things is I'm super emotional. But now I'm learning how to use it as a superpower and not as a bad thing because I can't change that I'm emotional. You know, I can't change that I'm sensitive. However, I can change how I navigate it with it, right? It's like more, I'm using it like in a war state, like, okay, I'm feeling this way, I'm going to go this way, instead of it saying like, oh, this makes me feel this way. Oh, you know, I'm sad. It's a different type of emotional state. And I feel like because there's no blockages. And I feel like that's where a lot of people get tied up is we never approach those barriers that we have that we don't even know exist, you know?
Yeah, yeah. John, based on those things, mind, body, spirit, what do you think's bringing the rain there?
Well, after 26 years of coaching and 22 years of teaching, I make that mind connection of to where now I feel very comfortable teaching teachers, particularly now, especially building technology, especially now that we've moved into this online age. Right. You know, that we moved into this online age that, you know, so almost on a daily basis, I'm doing like one-on-one video sessions with teachers that I used to teach with before, and they're struggling,
right,
you know, building their classrooms online or whatever. So from that perspective, I feel very comfortable teaching teachers. I still love teaching kids, and that's easy, you know, because my son, you know, they're with me every other week. And when he comes back, it's literally a week of where there's, you know, there's, you know, sort of they felt like I have an intellectual void that they've been in. So it's like, okay, let's go over like some of the current events that happened. And I'm able to talk about, you know, social studies issues. So that from that perspective, you know, that mind part. And then also, you know, football, you know, I've coached for 26 years. You know, I've had one athlete that went to the NFL and sadly about 6 other athletes that should have, you know, so I can build upon those mistakes that they made. I look at my own mistakes, and I know that's some of the topic that we're going to talk about today, about, you know, how we try to learn from wisdom, you know, so, you know, that's what you know, my craft is teaching social studies, political science, and then now in football. But, you know, when I used to coach baseball, I felt very comfortable doing that too. So
love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
On the body portion, John, what do you think some 2 things that you feel like you've accomplished?
I know, and I was in the military too, and you learn to conquer that mental block. And I remember for, you know, all these years of teaching the athletes, you know, that weakness, that pain you feel is weakness leaving your body.
Yes.
You know that saying from the military, you know, when they're making you do flirt pics or, you know, you're doing something ridiculous, you know, but I mean, those are things that I try to teach. And, you know, and I know that, you know, like, you know, how to block out certain things or, you know, so from that perspective, you know, I still tie it into my mind, but it's still, you have to condition your body to say,
absolutely,
you know what, that hurts, you know, I'm going to stop that, or it hurts, but I know it's going to make me stronger. So that part of it, I can associate, sort of tying the 2 together of body and, you know, and mind together, you know,
mind and body connection.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it's not something that you're injuring your body. It's like, okay, it's hurting, but it's going to take me to the next level.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's kind of like what you were talking about, Nikki, which I really like that piece is touching on that. On the spiritual side, John, what do you think are some of your strong points?
what I've found and I've been divorced now for the last 10 years, the spiritual part of it is my connection to my parents, connection to my kids, so, and connection to loved ones that are no longer with me, so that part is really difficult because it's tough for us to emotionally sort of make it through holidays and, I talk to my ancestors all the time, like my grandparents and my sister and my cousin that, so I look at that part of the spirituality of, I believe and I hope that that's where I'm headed to. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let me go back here.
Yeah, I'm off camera.
But you're still on.
I'm blessing you guys.
We still got the audio, Nikki G. We can still hear you.
You don't need to see me.
Sometimes it's about the voice, right?
Yeah, one thing I just something that's I've been on my mind and stuff and is like kind of letting things breathe. I listen to you talk and I listen to him talk, and anybody that I really see that's like powerful or anything, and sometimes stuff needs to be finessed. There's like a lack of finesseness in a lot of things, and I really enjoy these podcasts because one, it's been a goal of mine my whole life to be able to, have like a platform to speak on, and everybody's like, oh, you need to have like YouTube videos or you need to do this. And I'm no, I really like people interaction, that kind of defeats the purpose of like why I'm doing it. So this has definitely been such a major blessing because it's helped me be better at articulating my words. And, I used to talk 1,000 miles an hour, like a rapper, and now it's like, it's different because each word I have like a solid intention. And what's weird is I actually can hear what I'm going to say before I say it. And when I was younger, I didn't even know what I was saying. I was just like,
rambling.
It was rambling. Yeah. And I did a lot of rambling. Even some rambling was good, but I didn't understand it. So now this is such a blessing because I'm able to finesse things. And, hearing you talk, like I'm always like, oh, here he comes. He's going to hit it with the thing. But I'm like, my favorite thing about you is you have a story with it.
Yeah.
And, it's something that all the great teachers have. All the, you read in books or you read all these audiobooks, and the wisdom really comes with the story because that's how people are able to connect to it, And there was like a story that I once read, and it was about like if humans were ducks, right? If they got in a fight, you would hear them like 10 hours later. Can you believe that guy? Blah, blah, blah. Like 10 hours past the fight.
Yeah.
But a duck shakes it off, goes down the stream, and they forget about it, And like us humans, we let things affect us longer than what we should, one. And we let the dumbest shit affect us. I had a very like, I don't want to say like a fucked up comment, but someone like had a perception of me, and the old me would have been like, boo-hoo, they think of me this way. And all I said is what you see in me is a reflection of you. And I'm sorry that like you feel that way, but I hope you have a beautiful journey and you find stuff. But it's so funny how like things have changed for me where I don't have that. Like I was just like the duck. I just like shook it off and went swimming along. But the old me would have been there like 10 hours or 10 days later. Can you believe that bitch? And it's just like, it's that story just as I've been,
it's funny. I don't know if I can agree with they see something of themselves in myself. Cause I like the fuck you would say. So basically I tell them your eyeglasses are bad because this is greatness upon you. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't see the greatness. I don't know how you'd be mad about that. Right. So that's my running joke all the time when I can't agree with somebody. But I think the thing is crazy is, it goes back to that mindset, right? And I think when you're having certain mentors in your life and in that how people really give a shit, and I did. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about, like for me in the reflection is where I'm at today is that I really did give a shit of what people thought. I always wanted people to like me when I was younger and I was little. And when I mean by younger, I mean I was little, right? Mm-hmm. Third grade. I mean, I had this friend named Lenny, and he wasn't my friend for some reason. He never told me, and I was all broken heart over this shit, right? Mm-hmm. Then I got my marbles stolen. You guys know the famous marble story. And it got to the point for me is like almost people kicked it out of me, but it was because my destiny was to be a warrior. Mm. It wasn't to be a regular man.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so when I think about all the shit that I was going through, because I couldn't understand it, I'd give you my marbles, I'd give you my ice cream, I wanted to make you happy, and people still weren't happy. And so what I realized about this whole thing is that, in reflecting, is that I'm really a warrior. I'm not a normal thinking human.
Yeah.
I went through a pretty personal incident. I really can't give too much detail about it, but most people would have fucking collapsed, right? Mm-hmm. Right. And when I was in this conversation, for 1 second, it was so crazy that I ended up throwing up.
Oh shit.
Right in the fucking conversation. And I said, give me a second, throwing up here. And I get this talk, and it was crazy because my mind right away shifted to like, we're going to get this shit done. Doesn't matter what's in front of me, we're just going to get this shit done. Well, it turned out to be a fucking bullshit deal. It wasn't even nothing real. And what I realized, I'm like a crazy fucker. No matter what you bring to me, I'm ready to take it on, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to tell you?
Like a machine.
Like a machine. I'm literally like the fucking Terminator.
Yeah.
Right? It took me that moment, a little bit of humanness in me, but I was able to get over it immediately. And so I thought about that, right? And I don't really hang on to it. And I really think that when I wrote the 10 rules, right, and one of them's in there, is I remember when I was writing this, they nominated me to the board of BTU Research. And there's some 3-star generals on this board, right? I'm flying to Houston. And they said, I want a bio. And I'm like, fucking my bio, everyone's read my bio. I mean, you can just find it online. I said, no, I'm going to write the 10 rules that I live on. I wrote this fucker flying on my plane over there.
Oh, wow.
Wrote it down, I put it together, and I gave it to him, and the guys were freaking blown away. It was like my personal 10 commandments, right? And I think one of the things there is that us as humans, we really put so much time into social capital, right? And what I mean by social capital, we're not selling our shit like an artist. We're not a music guy. We're not watching our movie. The Rock needs to give a fuck about the critics, not us. Or the people that are in there, buying the movies. Yeah. Not even really the critics, right? Because the critic could be like, well, he sucks as an actor, and now he's the number one fucking actor in all of Hollywood. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So it's the end user. But we're caring about the critics. But the critics can't fucking say shit. Because it's like this, right? I always tell people, if I critique music, every artist would be broke. Because I only like a few hit songs. And I listen to them over and over again. You see what I'm trying to say? So it's not about that. It's about the end user. What do they think about you? And so your craft, you focus on that, and it's phenomenal. All the people in the middle or even close to you are not going to like you. It ain't the fucking reflection. You know what it is? It's because they can't do what you're doing.
Okay. Right?
It has nothing to do with the reflection of that. I like, well, we're similar. Because that's bullshit. When the little fucking 5'3" guy's mad at me, what do we have in common? Not much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? There's a 9-inch difference there. So you see what I'm trying to say? So we're focused on that social capital of that human's opinion, and it doesn't mean shit. That's why I say people's opinions can be cashed at the bank. I use that all the time.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think we have to realize is that when someone doesn't like us, they want to judge us to make themselves feel better about themselves. And what makes us feel bad is that when they're like, well, you're fucking asleep. And you're like, oh my God, you want to see something? No. When you never give someone that much ammunition. Like no one's going to be able to come to me and say, the fucking general's asleep. Because I'm going to be like, motherfucker, I'm up at 5:05. I've done this. I'm going to drive 3 hours. I'll be testing that at 12 o'clock. I'll get back on the road at 6 a.m. I'll be back in my office by 9:30. Like that's just irrelevant.
Yeah.
Right? And there's an old famous, one of my partners just say, you know what, if everyone says they caught Pat fucking goats, would you be defending it? No. Doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But the reason we defend certain shit is because we have some guilt to it. We're attached to the situation. You see what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah, that's good.
So it's kind of like pointing out our insecurities.
Yeah.
And that's why that's where we'll get wild, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's totally off the wall, we're not going to say shit, right?
Yeah.
Someone comes in here and says, John doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's going to be like, are you fucking kidding me? Because if we go into a brief in psychology or just in history, he's going to smoke their ass. I'm going to put my money on John, right? It's like when people, and this is funny, right? All my friends come in and says, we're going to play poker night and arm wrestling night. I've been undefeated, right? I was an arm wrestling, he was a state champ. I'm fucking still, the pipes are still there. So there's a lot of things to it, right?
Yeah.
Do I think I'm going to lose? Fuck no. But if I lose, fucking A, it's about time. That's what I tell them, right?
Yeah.
But what you think about that is I'm not there defending why. I said, well, let's just get on there and do it. And it was funny because one time all my friends get together and these fuckers are tricky. And we had a friend and they're younger and he's in the weight room. He's a wrestler in high school in the whole 9 yards. And they set me up. Mo being one of these fuckers, they set me up. And said, we're going to have an arm wrestling elimination. And we're seeing one at Joe's house. I'm with a fucking burrito, coffee, and an orange juice. And so, you know what's funny? I kept the burrito in my hand and I went through every single one. Destruction mode. It wasn't like we even locked up for minutes, right?
Yeah.
Mo, I hope he's listening because he got smoked in less than 2 seconds, right? And so Michael's hearing this story. He's laughing his ass off because he's seen me in the gym, right? And so I lock up with this guy, and he's like, I think he's got me. I said, are you ready? He says, yeah, I'm ready. And so when I took him out, you know what I mean? Quick. And the rest of the guys were like, holy fuck. And I said, dude, I've been lost my edge. I stick to what I know. Now, people tell me, Jack, let's go play soccer. No, I'm not playing soccer with you. One, I don't fucking know the fundamentals. And you're going to smoke me because I don't understand that. You see what I'm trying to say?
Well, it's not your craft.
So it's not my craft, but I understand that. But am I going to go defend and say, yeah, I'm going to play soccer against you? And the fucking guy's a little skinny dude, and you see him fast and he's doing tricks. I'm not playing soccer with you, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to play basketball with you. I'm pretty
Yeah.
fucking damn good. You know, I'm trying to. I'm sticking to what I know, right?
Yeah, that's important.
But do you see what I mean? The reflection's not there. If you come to me and say, you know what, Jack sucks at golf, I'm going to say, yeah, fuck yeah, I don't play it enough. It's not my interest. Can you do soccer? No, I'm going to say, no, I can't play soccer with you. You see what I'm trying to tell you? It's okay.
Absolutely.
It's okay to know that about yourself. But most people, we want social capital, so we want everyone to think, oh, this, that, or the other. I don't care.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But that reflection back in the moment when I was there as a kid, I thought I was losing. Man, I used to go home and I was so depressed as a young man, and a long period. And I was like, oh my God, like I can't know one life. And here I am today, right? 20 years, well, more than that. 23 years later, fucking kicking ass. And guess what? Those same suckers that didn't want to be my friend now want to be in my presence.
Yeah.
How crazy is that, right? Because I shifted my social capital on what I wanted.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You let the friction create something and not define you.
Let's think about this. And I don't want to talk about real estate, right? The number one loans out there that are given are about 550 and below, right?
Okay.
The hardest loans to get out there are jumbo loans, right? Period. Same thing like exotic cars. If you're going to try to lease an exotic car, you better be bringing in a lot of monthly capital into the game, right? So the question is this, right? As the houses start getting bigger and the dollars start getting larger, the fucking amenities are there. So if you're looking in Corrales or you're looking in the North Valley, you're looking up in the Heights, 6,000 square feet are almost the same amenities. One has a lot of grass, one doesn't, but the amenities of the structure is there, right? That's what I'm talking about, social capital. So if you're dealing with the $50,000 houses or the $50,000 fucking mentality of those people, they're going to be petty as fuck and say, you know what, I don't like Nikki. Because the people that are buying the big houses, right, 750 plus and above, ain't going to be worried about what you're doing. They're too worried about what they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
That's what's crazy, right? And you start to look at in social capital, and you look at certain neighborhoods and certain things, and you see all the diversity issues that they're having, and it all ties back to a dollar value. I'm not going to say there's not gossipers in the fucking rich community, because there is, but it's very rare. It's different. It doesn't define it.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I started not, and I can talk that because I came from both worlds. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's not like I'm talking shit from from one perspective. I got to live both worlds of it. That's the big piece in that reflection. So what I look at it is that I was able.
My bad.
John's trying to. I thought I was going to wrap
It
that.
was
for
like
a while.
a remix. Of
You see,
I was trying to
Drop
get
the
Mark-
beat.
I was going to drop the B heavy here. But I think the social capital piece of it, right, is that I don't. Back then I cared, now I don't. But it's shown me that not caring about people's opinions have got me so much further in life. Right? It's like the
been pressure, they break or they just go back under, right? But if you can get past that pressure point and that friction point, and you can just develop, like, that's where like your new birth goes, you know. It's like, and I'm even in a very, like, I'm being polished and grinded right now, but instead of pulling in and not liking the uncomfortability, I'm actually navigating that uncomfortability and changing patterns, you know. Like I'm like, I'm very uncomfortable, but I'm not going back, you know.
Yeah, pressure breaks pipes.
Pressure breaks pipes.
Pressure breaks pipes, baby.
I love it.
Let the valves come up, but you know what I mean. Pressure
Did you cover all of your reflections, mental?
Me personally?
Yeah.
No, I haven't even got there.
I know. I was gonna say, because I'm curious.
Did I put on the spot here or what?
Yeah.
Well, I think I told you. I think my mental reflections is one of the things for myself is I guess I'm so thankful that I put so much time and work intellectually. Right? You know, you get a lot of, I'm kind of like on the fence of people's ideas of like, well, now it's different, right? Because you got the internet. So you can educate yourself at a PhD level without going to a PhD and someone saying, I'm gonna give you a piece of paper for it, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't fucking matter. You're a PhD, you're a badass. Like, there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. You got a PhD in basket weaving. It took some time, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So ultimately, like, one thing I've always looked academically is like, okay, that's cool. When you become an engineer, right? Once you become an engineer, and I'm not because I'm biased to it, but once you're an engineer, you know, you kind of have a little flex on somebody, right? That's kind of a fucking major card to have.
You put in the work.
You put that work, and no one can just really say that, right? Same like becoming a medical doctor, any kind of, like I said, any kind of doctor, right? Or someone's like, I'm a pharmacist, like, you're like, shit, okay. You know what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah.
It just shows that. And so I think for me, that mental capital, I think, you know, all the certifications that I have, freaking multiple contractors licenses in multiple states, how I understand finances at such a fucking high level, right?
Yeah.
That to me is like, I'm like, shit, all the history that I've studied, right? Because I just love history and I want to know the facts behind it. People just can't blow smoke on my ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can't give me that, you know, we did A, B, and C. You know what I'm trying to tell you? Yeah. So on that mental piece of it, fucking knowing martial arts at the level that I know, it's from the mindset. You know what I'm trying to tell you? Learning to do something repetitively over and over and over, be able to test my method, right? Creating a hypothesis and then proving the experiment, right? I think my ability to be able to really break down somebody's mind. Yeah. Right? Like at a psychologist level, I would say. You know what I'm trying to tell you? So that part of it makes me happy. On the physical side, obviously, you know, the physical attributes, being a bodybuilder, being a kickboxer, all the shit that I've achieved, right? Fucking Lamborghinis, houses, all that. Again, it's a physical thing that you can touch it, tangible, it is right there. And then I think on the spiritual side is that I've actually been able to go really deep in my Christianity. Being raised and brought up in the Catholic Church and having just kind of following but not really understanding certain things, but being able to be that commitment gave me that basis and that discipline, but now in depth and how deep I understand it. You see what I mean? So you can't blow smoke on my ass. Yeah. It's based on facts, right? I think the ability for me to sit with other religions and be able to look at them and see that respect and say, oh, I see what it is. Okay, you're Hindu. I can see what it says A, B, and C. I may not agree with you and on the end result, but I can say, wow, there's a lot of positive things. Be able to sit with the Muslim and be like, okay, I understand. You know, like most people, you say, what's the difference? Right? Muslim is a Christian religion, but most people couldn't intellectually talk about it. Right? Yeah. They wouldn't know what to say. They'd be like, oh, they're a bunch of bad guys. They don't know what the basis is.
I mean, they just go off of what they're told and not what they know and actual factual.
I mean, just not throwing you on the spot, but do you know anything about a Muslim? What's the differences?
I don't know the difference, but however, when a lot of the stuff was going on to put them in a bad light, I did research to understand the culture more because I wasn't going to let someone's opinion define how I felt about someone that I never experienced. Like I was working at Fender and I had a friend and she was amazing and she was full Muslim. And I was like trying to dig and kind of just understand her because I'm like, here's this perception of, you know, this individual, but it doesn't mean it. It's just like saying like one Hispanic did something, we hate them all. It's like, it's not like that. So I've never been, and you know, I'm so grateful for my mother because when I was young, you know, going to like the Catholic church, my nana used to take me. It was Spanish. I don't know what the heck was going on. I would just like sit down. I could just feel, you know.
I'm holding that against you, so you know.
Yeah.
You can't speak Spanish. That's it.
I could speak Spanish. Yeah, and understand it. But growing up, like I was like, is this it? You know, so I asked my mom, can I go check out this? So like my sister went to Victory Faith and, you know, I had a friend that went to the Potter's house and I had a friend that went to the and I literally went to every church for the next 20 years of my life. The best church I ever been to was this gospel church in Phoenix. I was hungover. We were partying on it. This is a true story. We were partying on a balcony and we must have been talking all night. But the people I was partying with were like super intellectual. These people were just so smart. They came from all around the world. Their conversations were good. And this guy comes out from nowhere and he's all, my children. And he has like a tray and he's like, I've been listening to you guys speak. Come eat some burgers. And so we literally like, what? And he literally made us breakfast. And he's like, come with us to church. So I had a friend that was visiting Alicia from New Mexico. And I said, let's go. We got to church. There was no air conditioner. It was 100 and some degrees. It was hot. Everybody was fanning each other. Everybody was singing. That lady was on the piano just like, you know, saying something and everybody would repeat her words. And I never felt a vibrational state like that. I was like, this is it. I've been touched by God. You know, I was like this. But I took every element out of each one of those churches I went to. And I took, okay, this I resonate with. I don't resonate with it. Maybe it's just not the time in the thing. But I was able to take that. So it made me more of a human. You know, it wasn't just like the Latina from northern New Mexico. Like I got to see what everybody saw. And I got to like see the bad too in religion, you know?
You know what's crazy? So I met one time with some security from the royal family.
Wow.
Right. Mm-hmm. And they came into my office and I'm sitting down. He broke this out. He says, we studied your bio and we talk a lot about mind, body, spirit. He says, I want to break it down for you. He says, in Christianity across the board, he says, Moses was the body, strong, powerful. Jesus was the spirit. He said, Muhammad was the mind.
Wow.
And when he broke that up for me, I was like, holy shit, right? And so what he was saying is that the difference is that in being a Muslim, you talk about, you know, the angel Gabriel coming down and touching Muhammad, and he was illiterate, and so he rewrote the Bible basically, which is not the Bible, it's the Quran, but it's their version, basically saying
Their holy book.
The holy book. This has been doctored so many times that this is the real thing, regardless of what we think, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I thought about that, I was like, holy shit, that's pretty freaking cool. And so it gave me a different mindset. But I wouldn't be able to have those conversations if I hadn't worked on my mind and I'm not just stuck on one thing. Right?
Yeah. Your perception is open.
Well, I think the knowledge is in depth. Like, you know, I have an encyclopedia in my brain. Yeah. Someone can't tell me like, oh, that's evil. How can you say that? You're fucking nuts. Yeah. You don't have any in depth to it. You're just going based on what? So then if you know the basis of Christianity, you can't condemn anybody. So how can you say that? You see what I'm trying to tell you? Yeah. So when you're armed, it's hard for someone to sway you into their belief system because, you know, they only got a 22 bullet. Yeah. Does that make sense?
That's deep.
That's deep, huh?
I love that. Yeah, that's deep. Really deep.
Winston's camera come up or not yet?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, he's good.
Is your mic up, dude?
I'm here, yeah.
All right, so let me tell you a little bit what we're talking about here. Right. Winston's in the game here. We're talking about reflection and reflecting on stuff that if we go to our younger self and give us some advice, but we're not also talking about what you would change, because like I wouldn't change a lot of shit about my life, right? But reflecting on
maybe like what kind of advice or what you would tell you.
Yeah, like, you know, maybe like a tweak, or going back and reflecting on shit that you didn't do that got you here. Like sometimes not even doing it really helped you, right? And so I kind of quiz get people. So I guess for you is a couple of two things. So I'm gonna reiterate it for you. Mm-hmm. So mind isn't about the woo shit. Mind is like academically something that you can, like, you know real estate inside and out. So people pay you a percentage for that because,
Sure.
you know, when they're not to get screwed, this, that, the other, that's one thing. And then, like, you know, maybe some historical stuff that you like to use, that doesn't really matter, but whatever it means. So then body is not only just like physical accomplishments, but it's like tangible, like your car, or house, or carpet.
And we're talking about things like in the past, right? That's what we're talking about?
Yeah, in the past to now, even just reflecting like on stuff that you should have done or not done, or what you go,
Or you did, or you
Yeah.
should think you shouldn't have, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess the big thing for me that stands out when you ask that is me not going to college. I think that was a great thing for me to do, and I'm proud that I didn't, because just turned 24 right now, and I'd probably might still be living at home.
Yeah.
Might have student loans up the ass. I probably wouldn't be anywhere where I was or gotten the work experience in corporate America or even in real estate that I have today. But yeah, that's the one thing that I'm proud of, that most people would kind of be like, what? He's glad he didn't go to college. What does it mean? That's what you should do, right? But no, I'm glad I didn't do that. The one thing I did want to do on the educational side, if I wasn't going to go this way, it was be a biochemical engineer, because I wanted to be like Tony Stark, you know what I mean? But I knew that wasn't for me, and I probably wouldn't have went to finished engineering school, because I'm too much of I guess like a people person, and that's why I think I do good in real estate, is because I have to be like in the mix. You know, I can't just be at home hitting the books. I can't do it. I won't even know I'll probably fall asleep, or I won't even know what I'm reading. So I guess it's all positive from that perspective. I wouldn't change anything on that end. Physical, there's certain things I may be like, you should have waited before you pulled the trigger on that. Certain cars or certain designer stuff that I went through this phase, you know, when I started making money and I was buying stuff, and then now you kind of look back and you're like, that shit really doesn't matter at the end of the day. You know, it's cool to have, and I'm glad I went through that experience. But I think for me now, that I did go through that, it kind of really doesn't matter to me at this point. It's I have more of a bigger picture. But had I not have gone through that phase where I wanted like all the Gucci stuff or Louis belts or, you know, all the fancy cars or whatever, and I still want those, but it's not as much of a desire. Now it's like, okay, what piece of land am I going to buy, or what investment property am I going to buy? And now that's kind of where my mindset has grown out. And I think it's come with me learning the real estate game and seeing really what goes into it, and what's good deals, what's bad deals, or what's, oh yeah, I have the money, so I'm going to look cool and buy this. And that's one thing that, good and bad on the physical side, where there's some things I regret doing and spending money on because it gave me nothing back, but maybe pulling my wallet out and feeling a little more confident because I have a Gucci wallet or in my pocket or whatever. But other than that, it's taken away from me putting those funds into something that can actually cash flow me revenue back. Because when you go and buy this, you know, materialistic thing, you go and buy a Louis Vuitton belt or wallet or phone case or whatever, you instantly lost money. You could go around and sell it, but now it's used, and you're going to get maybe 50% of what you paid for it. So that kind of has changed my whole mindset on the physical end, if that makes any sense. And what was the other one? Spiritual. Man, I'm really thankful for my spiritual side, because ever since, for those who, I don't think I went too far into my story, but there was a big change that happened in my life when I was about a sophomore in high school. And it did happen with my brother. He got in a ton of trouble, and it kind of put a big burden on the family. And after that, I became like the spiritual rock, and I read the whole Bible. At first, I bought a comic Bible, because the Bible at that time, I was like, okay, I don't even know what this stuff is saying. You know what I mean? And they had this comic Bible where it's literally a comic book. And I bought both of them, and I read the entire thing. And once I read that, I was able to understand, because it gives you kind of, not like, you know, how much cubics were in Noah's boat. It doesn't give you that, but it gives you the big picture. So then when you read those and then you go to the actual scripting, then you're like, okay, now I can understand this. So my sophomore year in high school, I studied the whole thing. And at that time, I was kind of like, you know, we were meeting with the family and all this stuff, because everyone was kind of like, you know, what's going on? Everyone was losing faith in things. And I was kind of like the spiritual rock at that time. And what I would tell myself then is to keep that spirituality, because I feel now that so much other moving parts have come into my life. Of course, you know, you have a roof over your head, you have bills to pay, things like that. You can get distracted. So I'm very thankful that I did know that information. But what I would tell myself now, or go back vice versa, is to say, don't lose that. because I think as life happens, we tend to lose sight of things that are really important, right? Friends, family, spirituality, physical stuff. Like me and you have been talking now, and I'm like, dude, we've hung out with each other for like 4 or 5 years, and we only went to the gym for the first time like last week. And we're both pretty heavy in the gym, you know? So we're like, what the hell? Yeah, that's crazy. And just getting back to my old ways, I've just kind of found myself going back to my old ways of hitting the gym super hard, staying focused at work, focusing more on my spirituality because I fell off of that. I'll own that. But yeah, that's kind of sums up all three, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's a good reflection.
It's kind of, it's a mix of picking and choosing from a lot I've grown. And there's still certain things from when I was like 16 or things like that I wish I would still have. So it's like a give and take. You know what I mean? There's like, okay, I lost sight of this. This is what helped me, but lose sight of this because this is what kind of didn't help you grow as fast. You know what I mean?
And I think you want to take this as sometimes it's not losing it, it's shelving it.
Yeah,
losing it is that gets fucking lost.
No, that makes sense.
So you shelved it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think I want to do is think about you shelved those things. You didn't lose them.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and
you know, so funny. Sometimes we go
the
to
dusty
the gym.
toys.
Yeah, we shelf them. Then we go back to the toy and like, oh shit, this is the toy I want, right? We went hard, Dickie. We went hard in the gym.
Did you?
Oh fucking, we were in beast mode.
I love it.
Yeah, we've been killing it. I've been going every single day except for Sunday because I went to my buddy's house and stayed up a little late and I was just not prepared for the gym, but it's all good.
I feel you guys on that. Honestly, I've been, without even telling anybody, like only very few people know like what I do, but I've been literally like fully responsible for working out, and like I've been going and giving it like 120%. Like I feel like I'm training for like the next championship. You know, like just that's like my mind. Like I'm just sitting there and, you know, just it's very therapeutic, and I forgot, you know, it takes me back, you know,
meditation for sure.
And I had a shoot the other day, and it was just such a, you know, I've known this guy for a really long time, and he's a big actor, and just his approach to me, he would always write me with like, I see your soul, I see your spirit, like we need to collide. And it was just like his approach where I was like, these are the people like I want to roll with, people that understand that level of stuff. So we shot, and it was such a beautiful reminder to be in the moment and to really in touch with my spirituality. You know, he was like, he came in and like lit a light in me, like, whoa, I put it on the shelf for a minute, you know, and it was like reground, you know, be very intentional and stuff. And so like I've been applying two things. I've been applying stuff to be more scientific and mathematical. So like I've been using like your mindset and like how you navigate. And I've been trying to be so not more of like a scientist and then a
empath.
Yes, you know, like I'm looking at invoices and not tarot cards. You know what I mean? Like there's like a little bit difference, but you know, I'll always have a magical side that's kind of just like, ooh, what's that? Where am I going? Or, you know, I have that intuition thing, but I've been very more like I laid down my stuff, like mathematically, where am I at? Like, what is the proof? I can say all the shit in the world that I want, but like, what is my proof? And I've been implementing that, even like the working out, you know, like I didn't go run with my friend at 7 in the morning, right? I was up editing till 5 in the morning, you know, but I still went today and I still like just killed it. Literally got out of the gym, went and showered and came straight over here. You know what I mean? And it's just because I'm not doing it for anybody else. I think that's where, you know, it kind of wraps back around what we spoke about a little bit before you came, is like that social capital, you know? It's like,
it sucks. I've been guilty of that.
Yeah, you know, and even just like photography, it's like, or I don't even want to call that anymore. Just social. I always thought my
just like
stats
chasing
were
the
big.
cloud or something. You know what I mean? You can get caught up in it for sure.
Big time,
I would own that. I mean, a lot of things like it happened. The biggest thing that opened my eyes, I always tell Jack this, is when I bought that Maserati. Because I was like, oh yeah, this is freaking sick. Like I'm gonna prove to everyone I'm killing it, and I'm 23 and this and that. And it was like when I got it, I got like tons of hate. And I was like, oh shit, like I feel bad for having this thing now. I didn't even want it. I never drove it, none of that crap. Because I let the opinions of other people take the joy away from me. You know what I mean? And that's when I got caught up and I was like, you know what? Hell with this.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to do stuff now only because I want it for myself. Like, I don't care who sees whatever, any of that. And that's kind of where I own up to what you just said.
Yeah.
But I had to go through it, I think.
It's a learning thing, you
Yeah.
know.
But I'm going to give you guys a little secret, right? That no one knows about this. One of the two things that I like about bodybuilding and success, they're right in line with each other. Like, I'll give you an example, right? Like, you made a comment, says, I'm in the gym and I haven't told anybody. Well, guess what? Time passes, people are going to notice, right? There's nothing to fucking talk about, right?
Yeah.
I know immediately, right? I've been in the gym now, hardcore, hitting it, right? Going to this guy and do my shit. I'm up 7 pounds. I mean, there's nothing fucking gym, right? You walk in 226, now you're 231. It tells the difference. So I think what I love about that is that it just shows.
Yeah.
When you build social capital on the right way, not to feel cool, and you have all the accolades, the cloud is already making built. People are going to recognize it and say, you've done A, B, C, and D. So you never chase it. You just focus on what is important to get you there. The task at hand. It doesn't fucking matter, right? And so it's kind of an example. Like I was showing this guy, we were in the gym, and it made me kind of happy because, I kind of saw myself as Al at the time. And I saw him as myself, right? And we're in there, we're fucking pumping some weight. There's no bullshit. And we're about to go to the next level. But I was telling him, we're watching him, and it reminds me exactly of myself. And I said, hey, get this full range of motion so that you get this, but don't do this because you're going to fucking hurt yourself. So it doesn't mean we can't get a fucking dumbbell thrown on our shoulder and whatever. But let's say we truly work our body out to the full potential and we happen to just slip it to the right, blow a fucking tricep or blow a shoulder, is it worth it? No. So I put a theory, right? I stand it up and I'm like, on the count of 3, we're going to pick it up. When you're done, I'm going to take it off you. You see what I'm trying to say? But most people go and allow like ego or stupidity or bad fucking training habits to do something, and now you're fucked. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But it's those things that I know of knowledge, and I know, and I'm going to go something. I'm reflecting off not the positive. I'm reflecting as I sit here, my fucking lower back's fucking killing me. My knee's fucked up and all that shit. What is it? Right? Squatting tremendous weight over and over and over again without a full range of motion. And my body would have said, you know what? This isn't a good thing. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So if there's one thing on the body side, if I can go back in time and ask myself, I wouldn't have lifted the level of weights that I did in my really young years.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have pushed that fucking weight. I just went to. Because what does it matter now? Right? Yeah. When I get under, it warming up.
And that's a part of kind of what we're talking about, where now at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Like for me, what I've come to find out is I personally care more about the aesthetic look of myself, because people are like, oh, how much you're weighing? And I'm like, dude, I don't even know. I just want a freaking 6-pack, big shoulders, big chops. Like, I don't even care what I weigh at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm walking around 205 and I'm only this height. And it's like, nah, I don't even care. I just care about my aesthetic.
Exactly.
And then you get caught up in, oh, well, what's your bench? And I'm like, dude, my bench is like maybe 265 for 3. Like, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? So people are like, oh, you should be at 415 or 305. And it's like,
it doesn't matter.
I don't care about that. I care about my aesthetic look rather than pushing.
I saw this because I follow, I don't follow too many people on Instagram, as you guys know, right? And so, I like to follow The Rock, and I know this guy, Joe Donnelly, that I met. And so I happen to see his stories, and he's a pretty controversial fuck, right? But I just like watching his shit. And someone said, hey, could you outlift the fucking Rock? And he's like, yeah, I could outlift the Rock, because the Rock lifts for looks and 2 different styles. Yeah. And he probably could outlift the Rock for reals, right? Watching this fucking guy. But the way his approach was, it wasn't a negative approach. He said, the Rock has to live for aesthetics and for movies and this and that. That's exactly what you just said. Yeah. That's where I'm at now, right? I'm on the aesthetic side. Yeah. But I want to be fast. Right? When we were in there, we at the end of the workout, I was showing him how flexible I am. I was fucking knocking out these dummies, right? And so for me, I want to be fast. I want to be able to clock you in the head and watch your head go back, and be able to clock you again without blowing my shoulder, right? Yeah. And so I think it's that knowing what you want. But before, when you're younger, you're stupid as shit, and you want people to be like me, throwing 455 all the time, and little do I know I'm fucking taking out my joints. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so, it's knowing your appetite too, because we've had that discussion too, where if you don't know and you're a certain size, your body really shouldn't be putting up